Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Going On Daily. I am Sharon, and this is my amazing co-host, Chuck. How are you this morning, Chuck?
I guess you could say I'm amazing. I appreciate that very much. Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday.
Just
So,
went
how was
live
your
on
week?
YouTube. That's always a good thing.
Yes, it is. How was your weekend?
Well, it was interesting. I've got a story that we'll share shortly about something that happened over the weekend, but it's been pretty good. We've got a roof starting today over in Dallas, Texas. So I'm about 4.5 hours away from that action, which is probably the best place I can be. My guys will let you know that Chuck is a time consumer when he shows up on jobs. I care and I mean well, but I usually take time from the actual work being done. So I think Monday is going to be great for everybody, including our audience and myself.
Absolutely. Well, we're at season 3, episode 15. Season 3 already. Holy smokes, eh? This is crazy. All
It
right, so
is.
let's get right into it. What is your first topic? Overlooked Museum Mecca?
Yeah. So this week on Going On Daily, as y'all are aware, we have a weekly theme. I'm extremely jealous of that coffee mug, by the way. We'll talk about that shortly. But our theme for this week is Museum Week.
Mhm.
And I am not a huge museum goer. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't go out of my way to find museums, but I've been to some of the best in the world,
Really?
like the Smithsonian and some of those. But
Oh, that's
one,
crazy. I would love to do that.
I'll tell you, the Smithsonian is cool, but there's another place that's even cooler than the Smithsonian, and I'm about to let the world know a huge secret.
Okay, we're ready.
About 12, 13 years ago, I lived in North Carolina. And North Carolina has a much different culture than Texas does or Ohio, where I was previously from. And one of their calling cards for the South is stock car racing. And there was like NASCAR, okay? And these guys started there in North Carolina and they were like moonshine
Oh, of
drivers.
course.
And
Yes.
they would run the cars through the mountains and run moonshine illegally back in the day and all that.
The
And
original NASCAR racers were moonshine drivers, 100%.
exactly.
And an
And it's so
industry
cool.
was born.
Yeah, the industry was born through that. And when I got a chance to move to North Carolina in 2010, that was one of the things that was kind of charming about this experience was I've always kind of been a racing fan and I thought it was cool to kind of be in the hometown of it, but I never really understood the depth to which they appreciate the history of their culture there in the Carolinas. And when I moved to Charlotte, I was absolutely amazed by the fact that all of those racing teams are right there within maybe like a 20-mile radius of each other. They
Yes.
all are right there based in Charlotte. They've got Mooresville, which is just outside a suburb. And that's where all of the teams have their shops and everything. And the coolest part about these race shops, Sharon, is each one of them have their own individual museum,
What?
basically showing the history of theirs. Dick Trickle, he
Oh,
is an
Dick
absolute
Trickle,
legend, right? And
amazing
that's a
driver. Yeah.
he was like definitely the man. And when I'm
Turned
in North
15
Carolina, I
was
came to
one, but
find every single one of them had their own museum. So there were
Mhm.
probably about 40 teams. And in my 3.5 years of living in Charlotte, I made it a point to go to every single one of them. And I would do
Holy
like over the
smokes.
weekend or whatever, I'd go to one or two and have fun. And I came to realize that some of the coolest national artifacts or historical buildings like that are related to the history of auto racing, and they're in North Carolina. So the goal here is to tell people even if you're not interested in that, it's extremely interesting to see how everything evolved from, like you said, guys carrying moonshine in the back of their souped up hot rods and running from the police to what is modern day, auto racing where you've got hundreds of thousands of people and, worldwide spectacle. But everything in between is kind of there and it's very era specific. You can go to some of these shops and museums that don't even exist as far as active competition anymore, but you can see the very beginning days from the early parts of history. And I think NASCAR and everybody that's there in the Carolinas did a really nice job of preserving these pieces and these artifacts that kind of tell a story about what's now known as a modern sport, but how it's kind of evolved. And I think that Charlotte, North Carolina might be the most overlooked. If you're a racing fan, you probably are aware of that, and many people have gone. But I think people that are just into history in general, American history, or just have any kind of interest in stuff like that would absolutely be blown away. And you could go to Charlotte and spend an entire week and not see every single one of them. So that to me is an overlooked mecca of museums. And it's a place that nobody really thinks of when you think about where should I go for, you know, history. Where can I see history being preserved? North Carolina, ladies and gentlemen. North
Oh my gosh.
Carolina.
Yeah. I went to a race in Charlotte, North Carolina one time, and
Oh,
I was late 20s, early 30s.
so
And
like about 2 years ago.
yeah, just a couple years ago. And the first night we were there, there was about 10 of us, I think, that went down. We had this big motorhome and we just traveled, and we took some vehicles too, but so it was a lot of fun. But first night we're there, we go down to the track because I'd never seen a NASCAR track. I wanted to see one. So I'm crawling up the gate so that I can see the track because I'm quite short. And a police car pulls up. And most of the other people had already been to races. Well, I think everybody had except for me. They're like, Sharon, get down, get down. I'm already up here. If he's going to give, if I'm going to get in trouble, I'm already in trouble. I may as well enjoy the view. So this guy's name is Ken. He gets out. We became fast friends. They are blowing out there today. Hey.
Oh, you could hear that now?
Just now, yeah. No, that's
they'll be gone in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's all good.
Right outside my door.
So I made friends with the head of police on that NASCAR trip. He was the only guy, his name is Ken. He's the only guy who could carry a gun. He looked after all the police and security and everything. And he picked me up every night about midnight. And I went out touring with him and I rode the front of the police car. He liked my Canadian cigarettes. So he let me drink.
Of course he did.
Well,
that's
I
the
drank.
NASCAR cop.
I know, he was awesome. And then at the very last night, he took me and introduced me to his wife who worked in the facility, and just lovely. Yeah, but we were on chases and other police were jumping in, and it was crazy. It was a great time. I had a whole other view, and he took us on the track. Okay, so the first night, because he was teasing me going, oh, so you want to know what it's like to be a NASCAR driver? I said, yeah. And so we're having a conversation, and everybody's like, just shut up, Sharon, just shut up. But no, this is my opportunity. I'm going to go. He took us around the track going as fast as his police car would go with the sirens on. It was like, I don't know, 120 or miles an hour or something. And when you're right beside that wall going like that's fast, like we're good. And I'm like, slow down, Ken, slow down. He's laughing. And then he took us on pit road. We got to jump over the pit wall. It's taller than you think. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to take over your segment, but it was an amazing.
No, I love it. Because I've actually done that same thing. I've been to Charlotte to the Motor Speedway. I've been in the pits. I've had like interactions with the NASCAR drivers and such. I've even had a NASCAR driver on my podcast back in the day, Jeremy Mayfield.
Oh my gosh, awesome.
Yeah, so it's a huge thing, and I love that story because this has got nothing to do with museums now, folks. We've kind of deviated off, but I want to tell you my story about NASCAR, how this happened to me one time too. There's a racetrack in it's called North Wilkesboro, and it's out in the older part of North Carolina, but it was like the original NASCAR track, right? And Wilkesboro is where all that moonshining stuff originated from.
Was it dirt?
It was at one point, then it became asphalt, and now it's asphalt. But what happened was this track, they raced on it for years, from the 50s all the way up until like the mid 90s. And in the mid 90s, they basically just walked away and abandoned it to go to places like Texas, where I live, and, some of the more populous areas where they thought they could expand the fan base. And they basically left this North Wilkesboro Speedway there just to kind of rot. And back in, I guess it was about 2018, maybe 17, I don't know, one of those years, I went down to Charlotte to visit a buddy of mine for Christmas. And I just made a point that I was going to make a little U-turn off, and I was going to drive by this track just to say that I'd seen it, because I was going to maybe pull my drone out and do a little thing or whatever. Yeah. Well, to my surprise, Sharon, I show up and there's a house right there on the grounds. And the first thing I noticed was, this doesn't look like it's super abandoned. I mean, everything's well manicured. It's clean. there's a guy that lives here on site. So me being me, I just knocked on his door and I said, "Hey."
You are brave, because
Well,
out there,
I
everybody
guess,
has
yeah.
85 dogs,
In
and half of them are attack
hindsight, that was
dogs.
kind of stupid, but whatever. If you're gonna die, you might as well have a story behind it, right?
Mhm.
So I talked to this guy for a second, and he has lived at this place since like 1958 or whatever. He'd been there for the entire duration of it, and he was probably 90 years old or so at the point, but he was ecstatic that someone showed up and knocked on the door. So he's like, "Hey, if you'd like, I'll take you on a personal tour of the entire thing." Okay.
Love
So we
it.
go inside this North Wilkesboro Speedway that has been shut down at this point for 30 years almost. And all these historic artifacts are in there from over the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Everything is still intact. It's in this little side unit. I couldn't believe how awesome it was that the guy sat there with me for an hour. We walked through the whole place. He took me on.
Wow.
I've got a photo album like you wouldn't believe. Well, a few years later, which I guess was maybe just about maybe 3 years ago, they resurrected this racetrack. And the guy, his name was Paul. He lived there on site. And he
Mhm.
told me one day it's going to come back. That's why I stay here. That's why I take care of it. It's going to come back one day. It came back, and they do race there now. Like I think they have a regular race there this coming year for NASCAR.
Really? Okay.
And the beauty of it was this guy, Paul, who lived there through that entire thing, he was an old man at this point. He lived to see them come back and do the race, and he died like a week after that race. So it was almost like he had been, he knew if he just held on long enough, it was going to happen, and he was there to see it. And I know that's got nothing to do with
He
Museum
died
Week,
a happy
but
he died a happy man. No, he was preserving a museum. He was preserving a NASCAR museum. So absolutely, 100%.
it was such an amazing thing. And I was so happy to see him bring it back. And I thought of that guy. And sure enough, he passed away a week after it, but he lived to see it. And he died smiling, probably thought, you know what? All that work was worth it
He died
because
a happy man.
we got to see it. So there you go. That's how I'm going to kick off Museum Week. I hope that story wasn't too crazy for everybody.
I loved
But there you go. We have some fun.
Perfect for me. I loved it. Right up my alley. Right up my alley, Chuck.
Well, we're NASCAR people, so we're riding with the cops and smoking cigarettes and chasing criminals. And I have a feeling we're going to have a fun episode.
Drinking beer. First thing I asked when he told me to jump in, he said, "Sharon, you get in the front," because there was a bunch of us. He's like, "Everybody else in the back, Sharon, you get in the front." I said, "Can I drink?" He goes, "Yeah, if you want to."
There you go. Open containers on the NASCAR track with the police, folks.
Yeah. And you can drive through that facility. He drove through that facility in a car, like all over the place, and not just on the track, but in the facility.
Oh yeah, in the garage areas and all. There's the little tunnels that go to all the little burrows and all that.
Exactly, like through concession, the back area. Like it's an incredible facility, really. But I mean, the only facility I've had I was in Daytona. I got a tour of the Daytona facility too, but Charlotte's by far.
Charlotte's amazing, and they do Christmas lights there every year, and you can take your car out onto the speedway and go through the whole. It's like a giant. They do like the road course, and everything's got its own little thing. So I got to do that a couple of times when I lived there as well. It's very interesting.
Yeah, now you've given me something very exciting.
There you go. Got to go back to Charlotte now. I'll meet you there. We'll meet for the Coca-Cola 600. How about it?
I'm into it. I love NASCAR. I love NASCAR. And Danica Patrick got me into Formula One too.
She was actually driving for David Letterman and Bob Rahal team, which is in Hilliard, Ohio, and that's my hometown. So Danica Patrick, that's my connection to her.
That's why I started watching F1 is because of Danica Patrick. I was like, first of all, I was a huge Letterman fan, and then he hired a female driver. I was like, what? Wait a minute. Here we go. Now we have ourselves a race team. Anyways, I think Chuck and I could talk about this for hours, but we will continue on.
There you go. We'll do a NASCAR show one day.
Yeah, we should. That would be, I would love it. Because my favorite, of course, was Earnhardt Sr. And I was watching the race the day, and it didn't look like, anyways.
Didn't look bad at all. I know.
No, it didn't. Yeah. Now I just want to talk racing.
Hey, look, you see this Tide Racing hat right here?
Yep.
That's autographed by Ricky Craven, and I was at the race where he got his first ever win at Martinsville. So we could talk racing forever. That's a racetrack back there that I used to go to as a kid. I got the last ever photo of it from my drone before they tore it down.
Hey, do you ever, speaking of drones, just as a little aside, do you ever go when you're checking on a job, do you ever just park like a block or two away, take your drone, put it over the work that over the roof and see what you guys are up to, check it all out, and then pull up
Yes.
and go, hey guys, how's it going?
Unfortunately, yes, I do. And there's a whole
I,
set of stories behind that. The only
I
times I've
believe
ever
it.
crashed my drones were when I was doing something like that, that probably my intentions were not as pure as they should have been. But I was messing with my guys one time and I flew the drone down from about a block away.
Yeah.
And I heard the guy saying, watch out for the tree, watch out for the tree. But I didn't
Yeah.
see the tree and I hit a tree and it went down right in front of the homeowner. So I ran over there and he's like, what are you doing? And my crew was laughing because they knew I was just trying to bring it face level while they were eating lunch. And I was just trying to mess with them.
Yeah.
So I
So,
did. And I've got we could do an episode on stupid drone stories too. But
oh,
yes, I've
perfect.
done that
I love
many
it.
times. I used to do it to a homeowner that was upset with me that we actually had to sue. After we beat her in court, I literally would be like 2 or 3 blocks away from her house and I would fly my drone over her garden where she was working just to mess with her. And I know that that's
Oh,
terrible. I used to do that.
you
So
gotta let shit go, man. Just
I
gotta
know
just
I have now. That was years ago. That was the old me. That was
okay.
the old me. But yeah,
time
pettiness
to
with drones.
time to let our audience know where they can find us. All
Yeah, you
right.
don't
You
want to
can
find
watch
me.
they can find you every Monday morning here, right on Rhode Island Broadcasting, Chuck.
Indeed.
You can watch us live on Kick, YouTube, and Rumble at Rhode Island Broadcasting. You can watch us at Twitch at RI_broadcasting and X or Twitter or whatever the heck you want to call that thing, the Identity Crisis Station. You can watch us live at X at Broadcasting RI.
Yes.
Yeah, so all of you can also listen to us on a variety of platforms: Spotify, Red Circle, iHeartRadio,
Tune
tune
in.
in at RI Broadcasting.
And
There we go. Ooh, MeWe, TikTok, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Parlor, Gab, Space Hey at RI Broadcasting. And then if we're back to the Twitter X at Broadcasting RI. And you can go to Patreon and get some amazing swag. Buy
yes.
some, support the show. I mean, these cups are just phenomenal. They are, they have the logo on both sides, so that's great. You never forget your favorite radio soap because you can see it
We won't let you
on both
forget.
sides. Exactly. And you can also follow us on Facebook. Please follow us on Facebook because we got suckered. We got sucker punched and got kicked off of Facebook. So we're creating a new following, and you can see us Facebook at Going On Daily Morning Show. And you can also visit our website at RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net, where you get to vote. This is I love this. I love this part. I'm so excited that Ron did this.
The
So you get to
voting.
vote on various things, and it changes weekly, or
It's
I think
monthly.
it's monthly. It changes monthly.
Monthly.
Thank you, Chuck. And so this month it's 60s movies. So you get to vote on what is your favorite movie? Is it The Sound of Music? Is it Psycho? Is it Mary Poppins? Spoonful of Sugar, maybe? 2001 Space Odyssey or The Great Escape? Not that I'm biased.
Okay, so this brings up a very good question. Last week, Becky and I looked at this list and we decided that we were going to have Psycho and Mary Poppins fist fight at the end. And whoever came out ahead in that fight was going to be the winner of our Hall of Fame this month. We had Mary Poppins winning decisively, but none of us had ever heard of The Great Escape. And I see here that you're advocating. So tell us a little bit about why we should vote for The Great Escape if we haven't already placed our votes.
Well, you know what? It's been years and years since I've seen it, and but at the time I remember being really enjoying it. You've got to love Steve McQueen. I mean, he's an amazing actor right off the bat, and yeah, it's just about how he makes his great escape. But again, it's an older movie, so our tastes have changed along the years. But I do recommend going to watch it. For sure.
I think
It's
I'm going to
a
watch
really
it.
good
That was
movie.
very convincing. And
So,
who knows? Maybe
tell
we
you what
make it a
about it.
triple threat match and we put The Great Escape in with Psycho and Mary Poppins. Maybe Steve McQueen wipes the floor with both of them. I don't know.
Maybe. Oh, I think so. Steve McQueen, he's the man. Especially back in the day, he was the man for sure. But so Ron, our producer, has made it even easier to vote. All you have to do is there's a little QR code on the screen. Just put it up into your phone, boom, it comes right up and you vote. It literally took me 30 seconds. I did it one day. I think I was watching you and Becky on the show, and I did it. And it literally took about 30 seconds to make my vote.
Let's see
So
here, folks, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this right now.
mhm.
Show you how easy this is. Okay, it's now connected, and it is taking us directly to best movies of the 60s. We're going to start the survey here. What movie should be inducted to the Going On Daily Hall of Fame? We've got our options here, as you see.
Mhm.
Basically, all we have to do is we hit the choice that we've made. We hit complete.
And that's it.
And there you go, folks. That was
You
15
voted.
seconds of my life, and I made a difference.
You voted for
I've
the
now
Great
voted
Escape.
twice, which I don't know if that's legal or not, but I'm admitting it up front. If Mary Poppins wins by one vote, it's not legit.
So the Great Escape really is about how Steve McQueen escaped a German POW camp.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, it literally is a Great Escape. So
it's not a comedy. I get it.
It's not a comedy. No, it isn't.
All right. Well, he probably would defeat Mary Poppins and Psycho then if they got down to it.
You don't
Although
think
Mary Poppins, I think, still does have that diverse skill set with the broom. She can like out nice you, and she wins her fights in different ways than Psycho does.
she's got that umbrella too. So
there you go. There
don't
you
ever
go.
forget that's a weapon. If you ever watch The Kingsman, the umbrella can come in handy.
Indeed. I won't even say what I've used my umbrella for recently, but they do make good weapons. We'll just leave it at that.
I can only imagine. Maybe that's a story.
We'll completely leave that one alone.
Okay.
That one's not under the statute of limitations.
Oh, okay. We won't go there then.
That was last week. Yeah. Anyways,
all
vote
right.
for your favorites, folks. We want some big numbers. We want at least 1 million votes this month. I think last month, I'm just estimating, I think we had about 864,000 votes. Ron probably would tell me that's maybe a little inflated, but that's my assessment. So I believe that millions of people are watching us right now, and I think it's your duty, scan the QR code and make a vote. Make a difference.
But as Chuck demonstrated, it literally takes about 20 seconds. I said 30, but it wasn't even 30 seconds.
And I'm not even that smart. It took me a second to figure out what I was doing there. You could probably do it in under 15 and, really make a difference.
Yep. Yes, you could. Okay, so let's move on to our next segment because it's 25 after 9. We've talked far too long. I'll make it quick. So my favorite museum, being on Museum Week, I was thinking about it. And, recently I traveled to Europe and I went to the Vatican, and that was quite the experience. I do recommend, if people haven't been to the Vatican, check it out. There's my favorite thing. I just want to say one thing about the Vatican before we move on. There was a rug made. And it took, I think, these rug weavers like 5 years or something to make it. And it's of Jesus sitting at the table with some disciples, and his eyes actually follow you as you walk past it. Now, that technology, this is back in, oh my gosh, I forget who the rug was made for, but we're talking 2,000 years ago. Like, it was a long time ago. And they wove the rug so that the eyes actually followed you as you walk by. It's an incredible piece of technology that they just didn't have the knowledge. Snug, was it snug? Yes. Well, it was hanging on the wall and you don't touch it. So
definitely don't touch it. It's always got its eyes on you. You've got to be careful.
You don't want to be wrestled by the Vatican police.
Something tells me they probably are skilled.
Oh, I think
they're protecting some pretty important stuff.
Yes.
They're not mall cops, folks.
No, it's not Paul Blart, mall cop. No, it's not. Okay, so anyways, that was an interesting, but what I like is we have a museum right here in Winnipeg, in my hometown, and it's the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. And it's human rights globally. It's not just about Canada. It's not just about North America. It's a global human rights museum. So because we're running short on time, I'll just go through a few quick ones here. So they have exhibits that are there all the time. And so the exhibits that are there all the time are, of course, and they're interactive exhibits, which is really cool. you can talk to Holocaust survivors and ask them questions. It's pre-recorded, but based on the question you ask, like you sit in this gallery and they're on the screen, and you can do it in French or English. And they talk about surviving prisoner of war camps, like
Wow.
and what happened to their families. And it's a really, really interesting thing. So permanent interactive exhibitions are, first of all, it's what are human rights, right? So which refers to the terms of the rights and freedoms that we simply have because we're human, right? So then there's Indigenous perspective, First Nations, Métis, Inuit peoples. They have the concepts of rights and responsibilities. So responsibilities to the earth and to Mother Nature and to Gaia, the planet. So it's the Métis and Inuit culture is very respectful of the earth, which I think the rest of us have really lost over time. So
Indeed.
yeah, so Indigenous perspectives, and then there's Canadian journeys that this reflects the continuing efforts to achieve human rights for all, protecting human rights in Canada, examining the Holocaust. Yeah, there's a big Holocaust exhibition there. Turning points for humanity. Large digital monitors in the shape of open books explore how people working together have gained new protections for human rights. So they're also talking about how human rights is advancing across the globe, which is really cool. Breaking the silence, it explores the secrecy and denial in many atrocities around the world, and includes a focused examination of the Ukrainian Holodomor and the Armenian genocide, the Holocaust and the Rwanda genocide, and the Bosnian genocide. Like I say, it's a global look at human rights.
I
And
think that that's awesome. I think
oh,
it's something that we're lacking very much so in many places that could probably utilize a little bit of education on some of the things that have happened throughout the course of time before we were here. So shout out to
it's
Canada.
it's a great facility, and there are no stairs. You're going up gradual slopes. So if you're in a wheelchair, it's accessible 100%. There's no, you don't have, you can get in an elevator. There's elevators, of course, but yeah, it's an amazing facility. I just love it. There's a lot of controversy about the building. Some people say it's an eyesore. I think it's architectural genius, but and then they go into taking action for human rights and what you can do and how you can inspire change and all of that. So those are the normal stationary exhibits that they have all the time. So the ones that they're showcasing right now or focusing on are broken promises. It's about the Japanese, pardon me, people boarded trains bringing only what they could carry. Officials promised to protect them, and instead the Japanese Canadians were dispossessed. Everything was either stolen or sold. They were promised that they could go home after the war. The Canadian government just sold their land, sold everything they had. They had nothing. They were just left with nothing. It is, I did not realize. It's a horrible, horrible reflection of the Canadian government at that time.
Sounds like something we would do over here, unfortunately.
Well, no, but I had past tense, this version of Canada where we were loving and kind and we supported people. No, our government's done some pretty shitty things. It's terrible. But hopefully we're getting better as time goes on. And then there's dimensions in testimony with regards to the Holocaust survivors. And one of the Holocaust survivors, this is her quote: "I tell my stories, my history to bear witness. To bear witness is a tribute to my parents, to their courage, their fate, particularly that of my father and the rest of my family who were exterminated." Because
Wow.
her family, she had to hide her identity. That's how she survived. But and then there's one on Indigenous women and their rights to safety and justice, and how they are 6 times more likely to be murdered than other nationalities, and how they lead their communities. When communities are healthy and happy, and Indigenous women are leading, the community as a whole is healthier, mentally, emotionally, physically, psychologically. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. And Love in a Dangerous Time, Canada's LGBT purge, how Canada, I didn't even know, how Canada rounded up people who were in the LGBT community and destroyed them personally, professionally, charged them, incarcerated them. They ruined lives simply because of their sexual preferences. And I had no idea that happened in Canada. I had no idea.
No, this is definitely some eye-opening information. And it's like, I think that's probably why we don't know about this stuff and why we don't have very many opportunities to visit a place that's so truthful and so honest, because it's like, dude, this is the stuff that people are choosing to ignore right
Yep.
now in
Yep.
modern times so that we can kind of rewrite the narrative. And I know this is not a political show and I ain't going to go that way, but
Yep.
this is kind of,
Yeah.
it puts things in perspective very, very much so.
And it's interesting that throughout this museum, Canada's calling itself out, saying these are the atrocities. This is the human rights violations that we committed
Wow.
as a country. And yeah, it's incredible. And then it goes into residential schools and experiences of survivors, and the Polish solidarity movement, which thank God we moved on to Poland now. There's actually
Right.
another country who committed atrocities besides Canada. So
Wait
yeah,
till you get, if it's in alphabetical order, wait till you get to USA.
it's not
I'm
even
sure
in there.
oh, they
Not
don't even acknowledge us. Okay.
well, no. It's
To
not
say
that. It's
our
not that.
atrocities
These
are
these are
much worse.
rolling like non-permanent exhibits that I'm talking about now. So they are interchangeable. So they change them. So yeah,
Okay.
so they're
We're gonna
doing
have
one on
our
the
whole
Polish
year at some
solidarity
point.
movement. Yeah, I don't know. And upcoming exhibitions are on the Palestine and Nabka. So Palestinians use the word al-Nabka, Arabic for catastrophe, to describe their forced displacement in 1948. At least 750,000 people were expelled by the militias and the Israeli military, or they fled conflicts. Most of those who were displaced believed they would return in a few days or weeks. Get this, 5 generations later, these people and their descendants still live with insecurity and uncertainty and are unable to return home. 5 generations later. So I'm looking forward to going and going through that exhibition because that's incredible. I can't even.
Says a
And
lot about humankind, doesn't it?
oh my gosh.
We've been
And then
lying for decades. We've been lying for
oh,
generations.
we're so mean. We're so very brutally mean to each other, and I just it's sad. It's sad the way we treat our fellow human beings. And on that note, At the Knees of Our Ancestors is another one that's coming up. A closer look at the years of enslavement in Canada
Oh,
and early Black history in the country. Now, I did not realize that Canada had slaves. I had no idea. Very naive, clearly. And because I've always been educated on the Underground Railroad and how people snuck, colored people out of the US and into Canada where they came to freedom. So I'm very shocked that we had slavery.
there's a whole other side of the story that we didn't even realize.
Who knew? Who knew? So anyways, that's my little look at the Canadian Human Rights Museum. If you're coming to Canada, most people don't like to visit Winnipeg because we're central, although we have beautiful lakes around us, and it's very wonderful in the summer. And if you like to fish, ice fish, or if you like winter activities, oh my God, we're the place in the winter. But yeah, so that's just another reason to come and visit Winnipeg is the Human Rights Museum. It's amazing.
There you go. If you didn't need another reason to come visit Winnipeg, now you've got one. And
Other than me,
I
love the
was
Human Rights
I was
Museum.
thinking the same thing. I remember last week we were talking with Becky, and she's going on a trip here shortly. And I think one of her layovers was in Winnipeg.
Get out.
And I think she's planning on hanging out with you. So maybe this was a surprise and I wasn't supposed to say anything,
I
but
would love that.
there you go.
Into it.
Now, if she wasn't planning on it, I've kind of forced that.
Oh, well.
So either way, you guys get to hang out and it's 100% my fault or, whatever.
That'd be a lot of fun.
That sounds like it would be awesome. And one day maybe I'll just fly to Winnipeg and we can hang out and we'll go to a Canadian NASCAR or something.
Well, we don't really have NASCAR in Canada. That's why we have to go to the States for it. But
that's the one reason I would leave Canada to come to the United States, I suppose. Gives you a reason to visit. I love it.
There's a few reasons, but that is one of the major ones. Okay, so that is my little blurb on my favorite museum. So what is next on the hit parade?
Oh, I think something embarrassing is next on the hit parade, potentially.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Look at
oh,
this
your
idiot with his
embarrassing injury.
bandages and everything going on. And I love my cartoon character because that dude has got a awesome tan going on. I definitely do not look like that in real life, but this is Chuck's embarrassing injury. So we're going to go from human rights to a human that probably has too many rights and should probably be locked up. And that, of course, is me. And basically, here's something that I'm going to tell everybody. It's extremely embarrassing. But that's what this show is all about for me. I like to just embarrass myself to the masses. So, Sharon, I am in my, I'm going to say mid 40s. I'll call it mid 40s. On a technicality, I guess 7 is in between. So I'm technically in my mid 40s still. And I don't believe that I'm in my mid 40s. I still believe that I'm like 18, 19, 20 years old. And when I was younger, I did a very physical occupation. I used to carry roofing materials around and load them up on houses. I drove a truck and we'd have a conveyor truck and we would like throw them on the.
We didn't have the conveyor.
You had to do them by hand, even worse.
I did them by hand. Yeah.
I did the conveyor for 12 years. And one of my greatest accomplishments in my career was I never got hurt. I did all kinds of stupid things. I used to jump off the back of the truck and people would say, you know, when you're 40, you're going to really regret that. And they were right, but I didn't feel it at the time. So I feel pretty good. You know, physically, I think I'm all right. I have a regular routine that I do. I go to the gym 5 days a week. I've got, you know, a whole thing. And Saturday, this past week, I went to the gym. I did a great hardcore workout in the morning and I go early because I don't like to be around people. I just like to go and do my thing. So I went to the gym. I did great, feeling like $1,000,000. Come back to my house. I've got to get dressed and I've got to run a roofing appointment for my company. So I go do that. I feel awesome. On my way back, a buddy of mine texted me and he said, hey, I'm coming through San Antonio. Let's grab lunch today.
Perfect.
Life couldn't get any better, Sharon. I'm having like amazing stuff, right? I come home and I'm sitting here at my house. And for whatever reason, I decided that I was going to bend over and touch my toes.
Were you tying your shoes or something?
No, I just felt like bending over and touching my toes. Well, this is where the title of Chuck's embarrassing injury comes into play. Guess what happened to me when I bent down to touch my toes?
You got stuck.
No, I injured my back. And I don't even know what I did, but my lower leg and my back like completely locked up. And I'm standing there like at a 90-degree angle, bent over. And I finally get myself up and it's like, oh, what's going on here? It hurts to walk. I can't move my leg. I still did manage to make it to the Tower of the Americas in San Antonio for lunch on Saturday, which was excruciating. But if you ever see the Tower of the Americas, it's the second largest tower in the world and it does like a rotation. So while you're eating dinner, you can see like the entire San Antonio.
Heights are not
pretty cool. It was worth almost dying over. Yeah. But I have to go to the Walgreens here to get a massager, acupuncture, whatever. I get that. That didn't work. Yesterday, I decided I was going to stay home and just kind of relax and not do anything. But the problem is this pain is not going away. So I even ordered one of these things, which is like it's like electrocuting me right now in my leg.
Stimulating
it's like heavy electro. Yeah. And like it hurts, but I can't feel my back anymore. The reason why I got hurt is because I bent down to touch my toes. This is someone who has done physical labor his entire life, who is, you know, physically fit, physically active, all those good things. I bent over to touch my toes and I've been out of commission for 2 days. And now I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to deal with it before I even go to a doctor because it's still bugging me. And I guess the moral of the story here is don't get old, number one. And number two, unless you have to tie your shoes, there's no reason to touch your toes. So I'm giving a PSA to the world right now. Don't do like I did because you will regret it at some point in life. Maybe you can touch your toes fine right now, pain-free. don't take that for granted, because there will be a day.
Okay, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
You go to the gym 5 days a week.
Yep.
Do you stretch?
Now, this is a terrific question. And I believe that the answer to why I hurt myself touching my toes is probably included in this. I do stretch, but I probably don't stretch as much as someone my age needs to. Like if I'm going to do legs, I'll do 8 to 10 minutes of real pulling my legs back and like doing all these. And I try my best. But I didn't stretch this time. And I don't know.
One of the first things I do in the morning when I get up is bend over, put my hands on the floor, and stretch out my legs and my back. First thing in the morning.
I think it's a great move, and I believe I'm going to pull that into my playbook moving forward. And I might even put this thing on my playbook, because I'm not going to lie. I ordered this off Amazon yesterday at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and at 5:15, it was at my front door.
Are you kidding me?
Terrific. What? I don't order anything on Amazon because I live in a complex and they always deliver to the wrong place. But I was willing to sacrifice because it was not, I didn't want to go down 3 flights of stairs and drive and have to do all that. It showed up in less than 90 minutes. And thank God for that, because now everything's good. And luckily for me, all I have to do today is 2 podcasts. I've got this one, I've got another one later, and I've got to do a couple computer things for my roofing company. But I am actually not doing any roofing today. My partner is, and I'm going to recover. I'm going to be okay. 100%. I will touch my toes again at some point, and it will be heroic, I guarantee. Knowing what I'm overcoming here.
Start slow. As you're sitting in your chair, just bend over. Like, don't do it standing up, do it sitting down, just bend over. Because sometimes if I have a sore lower back, that's what I'll do. I'll either bring my knees up to my chest or just bend over and rest on my legs and stretch it all out without standing up, like in a seated position. Because it just kind of loosens everything and stretches everything.
I feel like that's going to be my thing after our show today. I don't think I'm getting out of this chair for the rest of the afternoon. I've got myself pretty much locked in, and I got a good, comfortable, big chair for my podcast. And I thought, well, if I'm sitting here, I'm not bending over and touching my toes and my back doesn't hurt. So I think I've pretty much convinced myself that this is my spot today.
Are you on a podcast today, or are you hosting?
Hosting. I was a guest on one on Friday, which was cool. I love being guest on podcasts. My roofing company is going to be featured by a prominent software company, which actually is the sponsor of my podcast, as the roofer of the month for the United States of America and the entire world, because our friends from Roofer are actually based out of Canada. So we're representing the entire North American continent as the best roofer.
Go Chuck, I'm proud
to represent Canada. I'm extremely proud to be the best roofer there too, and they've given me that. So I was actually a guest on their podcast. Anymore, Chuck. Yeah, that's right. I was on their podcast Friday to talk about that, but I'm doing one myself with a very prominent young lady in our industry, and I can't wait because I've never talked to her before in my entire life. And much like our show today, I think these are the best ones where we basically just met like 5 seconds before we went live, and come to find out you like NASCAR and live in Winnipeg. So,
and used to be a roofer.
There you go. Used to be. You were smart enough to get out. I respect that.
Yes.
I've tried for 28 years to get out, and it just won't let me.
Yeah. I went from roofing to landscaping though.
But you went from one of the hardest to one of the few things that's actually harder than roofing. That's commendable.
No, roofing was a lot harder. But when I was roofing, I used to work with my brothers. And so I was in my 30s, and the guys who would come and help us were in their 20s. And when a new guy got hired, they'd look at me and go like, what is she doing here? Oh, she's your sister. That's why she's here.
And
so my one older brother would say, if you go on one side of the roof, she'll go on the other. You're going to tear off the shingles. If she beats you, you do anything she says whenever she says it. If you beat her, she gets off the roof.
And you never got off the roof, and you had a bunch of dudes doing whatever you told them, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. But the first time he said it, I was like, are you kidding me? He's like 19. I'm 30. What is going on here? Go on.
It's all about smooth. Smooth is fast.
Yeah.
Fast is not fast. And I'll say this, there's a young lady, her name is Roofer Girl. which I mean, I guess that's pretty original. A roofer gal, maybe, is based out of Canada, and it's an all-female roofing crew. And they do social media content, and they come around here and they partner up with some tool companies and things like that to do promos. But I think it's awesome. And the reality is, in the roofing world, the majority of the people that are actually like really awesome, they're females. Most people think it's a male industry, but it's really not.
We got a lot of the companies that, because we freelanced for some different companies, and the people would ask for, can we have the crew with the female? They always wanted the girl, because if anyone was home during the day and we were doing roofing, it was usually the wife, right?
Yep.
So they would feel comfortable, they felt safe knowing that there was a female on the crew. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
we generated a lot of business for those companies. And if I would have been smart back in the day, I would have said, okay, I want, this percentage of the job because you got it because of me. I'm
Exactly. You start your own company at that point. There's a company here in San Antonio called Roofer Chicks. And this girl, Amy, and her entire company, I think she's got like 3 or 4 guys there, but the majority is female. And
Wow.
I think that's awesome, because I agree with you. There are many times where I realize I probably could have gotten that job, or I could have gotten that job a lot easier if the perception of me being some crazy ruffian didn't exist. And, that's my goal. I got to make people feel comfortable, and it's a disadvantage. I've always tried to find female sales reps, and it's sad because a lot don't want to do it because they think roofing is just some kind of dirty, nasty thing. They don't realize a lot of these people that are high up in roofing make more money than doctors and lawyers do. I'm not one of them, but no, I know people that are rich.
It was very lucrative when I was in it. So I definitely agree.
There you go. That was Chuck's embarrassing injury, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't, moral of the story, stretch. Before you touch your toes, be very careful.
And this probably would have been the answer to my injury as well.
You would have been much more relaxed had you bearded yourself first.
Very interested to see. When I saw this topic, it stood out. So I'm interested to see what we've got going on with Beer Me here, Sharon.
Okay. Well, okay. So it's not probably what you think at all.
Uh-oh.
There was a 36-year-old man with ALS, and he was in a locked-in state for months. And locked in means that he had gotten to the point where he couldn't communicate. He couldn't even move his eyes anymore. His body just was not working. So they did a brain implant on him. And his first request was for a beer.
They put a dude brain in there, didn't they? Yeah, they went to the NASCAR races and they found one of those brains.
Yeah.
I love it.
His first request is beer me. You love it. So that was,
why not? I mean, if you survive that and you have to have a brain implant, hey, let's enjoy it.
And then his other question was, he wanted to listen to the band Tool,
but
really loud. So give me a beer and play me some tunes. That is awesome.
That is actually pretty amazing. And I'll tell you, I think that the human brain knows exactly what the human brain wants. And when you go through all that and you immediately wake up and say, give me a Budweiser and give me some Tool. That's the key to a happy life right there.
Living life.
And he's probably been thinking that for quite a while.
Well, there's a debate when people are locked due to ALS, because it shuts down all your muscles and you just can't function. The brain, so that they don't know how cognitive and aware people are who are in a locked in state. And so this proves that, yeah, you still have your cognitive functions.
Knows exactly what's going on.
And this was in Geneva, Switzerland, and they developed a brain electrode implant that allowed the man to communicate. And they say it's significant because it answers the longstanding question about whether individuals who are in a complete locked-in state can still generate commands for communication. And so it took him, I forget what it was, I didn't include that part, but it took him, I think it's 1 character, so he's spelling somehow with his eyes, and 1 character per minute. So to request a beer, please bring me a beer, that's a long time.
And that's why he's asking for Bud and not Leinenkugel. I got you.
Exactly.
It's not because he likes the bud. It's because it's going to take a while to ask for one of those domestic imports.
Yeah, we don't want to go for Heineken. Heineken's off the table.
Oh, well, we can smile at this because we know that the guy has a happy result and that he's able to enjoy his beverages. I can only assume that, everything went well and they gave him his beer and he was good to go, right? Did they tell the story?
They played him some Tool. No, they didn't.
That part would be so difficult for me. I would give him the beer, but I'd be like, man, the radio's broken. We can't find the remote. Like maybe some Neil Diamond or something, but I don't know about Neil Tool. Diamond? You're just coming back to life, man. You don't want Tool.
Exactly. How about some AC/DC? I'll throw on some AC/DC for you. We'll go forward from there.
There you go. I got some AC/DC going on over here with this thing, and I'll tell you what. Absolutely. I don't mean to use a pun, but shook me all night long. There's no doubt.
Perfect. You're living the life. You're a shining example of AC/DC right there.
Exactly. We're electric today, folks.
So you left it on all night?
Oh yeah, it's been on for since I got it yesterday, pretty much.
Okay, so
I took a shower this morning, and that was pretty much it. It hurt to take the pads off, so I'm just gonna leave them on until I'm fully healed. And you know what I did stupid? Okay, I didn't really tell the entire story, and now I feel bad. I need to. I see this guy's heroicism coming out of a major deal and asking for beers. After I hurt my back and I was having a hard time walking, this explains me to anybody that doesn't know me. I decided that the best thing to do would be to go to the driving range and hit golf balls. And I tell you what, when you can't bend over and you can't move, hitting golf balls is the worst possible thing. So I went there, I hit 3 golf balls. I spent $16. I got the big, knowing full well that I was not feeling good. And I hit 4 or 5 of them, and it hurt so bad that I just literally walked away and gave the bag to someone else. But that probably didn't do my
Chuck,
self any
come on,
favors.
what are you doing, man? The nicest golf course I've ever golfed on was in North Carolina. Beautiful. It was just out in the middle of nowhere, and it was immaculate. And you could they gave you coolers, so you could take your own booze on the course.
Of course.
They gave you ice, they gave you coolers, and nobody was golfing on it. And it was cheap. And it was literally and it was in the hills. It was in the mountains.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the Smoky Mountains. It was beautiful. You had to go up some gravel road, and it was literally single. Yeah. It was crazy trek to get there, but man, what a rewarding experience. It was amazing.
It was worth it. I love that. See, North Carolina is a great place. I didn't know we were going to have North Carolina in common today. And every time I start the episodes, I'm like, wow, I hope we have something cool to talk about. And we always find something cool to talk about. So, and Ron's right. It is fun to golf drunk, but only if you're playing poorly. If you're playing well, and you have one too many beers, it's terrible because you know the point with which you lose control. And I always yell at myself, after the 17th or 18th beer, I'm like, dude, my putter's not straight anymore. And it takes about 17 of them to figure it out. But that's because I'm a roofer and I go on a lot of golf excursions.
Well, yeah, in that industry, absolutely. It's called business, doing business. A lot of people want to do it on the golf course. It's one of the things that I loved about the industry. And I went into construction too. I owned a construction company for a while. And that was, you want to make friends there, you could take them out golfing. Yeah. A lot of fun.
Absolutely. Someone that finally understands me. I love it. That's all I needed was one person to say, you're doing the right thing. And now I'm encouraged to continue on. My partners always tell me, maybe not so much, but I feel like your advice is much more beneficial to me. So I'm going to go with that.
So we can go golfing. We can go watch a NASCAR race. Holy heck, Chuck.
I'm going to sponsor a car next year.
Get out.
Myself and a buddy. And in my driver's Jeremy Mayfield, he was in NASCAR for years. He was on my podcast. His wife was. I don't know if you're familiar with Jeremy Mayfield's story, but he was basically exiled from racing. They said that he tested positive for methamphetamine and had all these bad things happen. None of that was actually true. And I had his and his wife, Shayna, both on the show individually to give their account. And I think Shayna Mayfield had the craziest story of them all, where she, the FBI raided their home and threw her on the ground and had her hog tied and, the whole thing. And It was quite the story, but
Wow.
I was a friend and fan way before that happened and stuck with him through the whole thing. And, you know, Jeremy races and he's winning lots of races and winning championships. And I told him I want my roofing company to be a sponsor on the car. So that's my goal for 2026 racing season.
Oh my God.
And I sponsored a car in North Carolina, which people look at and say, you're based in San Antonio. You have a roofing company. What good is sponsoring a race car in North Carolina? And I asked them, tell me what's wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
If someone calls me from North Carolina for a roof because they saw it on a race car, I'll probably go do the roof. So
exactly.
There you go.
Have tools will travel.
Indeed, my friend. Indeed.
We
need to do another episode sometimes because now we've got a lot to talk about. Our backgrounds are eerily similar, and I think that's awesome. That's what I love about going on daily. I joined this about 4 months ago, and I had no idea what to expect. I just wanted to do another show to kind of, you know, be a second complement to mine, and I love this program. I've got to have great episodes with amazing people, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have.
I have. I've really enjoyed it. And I feel the same. I've met a lot of wonderful people on this show, and they really have some great hosts and very diverse backgrounds too, which brings a lot to the show when you're with someone like I was with Lana on Saturday, and her background is much different than mine. So the diversity created an interesting dynamic as well. So I really like it because you can learn from people, right?
Absolutely. But I'm wondering now if Winnipeg is better than Alberta. Becky's always saying Alberta is nicer than Winnipeg, but I don't know now. Now I'm curious. Now I got to come to both.
They have better weather, that's for sure, in the summer. Well, in the winter. In the winter, they have better weather, but I don't know. I'm kind of partial to Winnipeg.
That's like me. I'm here in San Antonio. It's going to be 66 degrees Fahrenheit today. And we had a freeze warning yesterday. So everything's kind of, but I go outside, I'll wear shorts and a short sleeve shirt and have fun. And I don't believe in cold weather anymore. So God bless y'all that do. And I appreciate the fact that you guys keep it up there.
Fuck.
I got you to say it. I love it. Now I know we do a good podcast together. We do the unedited after hours show now.
After hours, we can do it after hours.
I got you now. I love it.
Dang it. Okay.
And you know that's going on my reel. You know that's going to be the one reel that's going to get the most views this week. I love it.
Shoot. Well, right now it's minus 27, but with the wind, it feels like minus 37. So once...
And that's Celsius?
Celsius. So once you hit minus 30, it's basically the same in Fahrenheit.
Yikes.
It's within a few degrees, like 4 or 5
pretty
degrees.
Damn cold.
Yeah, I'm not going outside today.
Me neither.
I didn't go outside yesterday either.
Mine says we've got rain and snow in the forecast. And here in San Antonio, if it snows, we're done. Like, even if it's cold, they cancel school here. They cancel school if it's like 40 degrees or below. And that's not even freezing. That's just cold. But like, it's different here. It is different.
We have to have a foot of snow. Like, it used to be a snowstorm. They don't cancel school for anything here.
That's how I grew up. I grew up in Ohio, so we had that snow, and I miss that. But down here, if we get a light coating of ice or anything like that, it's done. Like, you might as well rush to the store. All the bread's going to be gone, everything. And then some idiot like me who grew up in Ohio can just drive around like nothing's going on. And I'm just frustrated because all the stuff's gone from the stores, but there's no traffic. So it's all perspective.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you very much, Chuck. This has been a lot of fun, and I look forward to doing it again for sure.
Indeed.
And thank you, everyone, for being on the show with us today. Or if you're rewatching it, if you're watching a replay, then thank you for doing that and choosing to spend your time with us. We really appreciate it. And get yourself some swag. Coffee tastes better in a Going On Daily mug. I'm just going to say that right now.
You're right, it does. And before we exit today's show, we want to remind you as well, check out Sharon on Facebook, YouTube at Holy Shift Balls, which is an amazing title for a podcast. I love that.
Thank you.
And you can also check me out, YouTube at Chuck Allen 210, also known as the Keeping It Rio podcast. And we would certainly appreciate anybody's trickle down effect for that as well. Tomorrow, we got the Turners in the house, Becky and Kyle. That should be awesome as well. we've set the bar high to start the week with Museum Week. So let's see what these guys bring and how they continue to set the bar higher each day.
Continue to elevate the show. Love it, love it, love it.
Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
Enjoy your day. We'll see
Oh,
you
it's
next
Kyle
time.
Miller. My bad. I was just reading what
Kyle
I was
Miller,
told.
yeah. I was
Reading
wondering.
what I was told.
like, yep.
Sorry, Kyle. We've never done a show together, so I didn't know. Anyways, we'll see you guys later.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.